Liam Moggan. He's the Coach Education Officer for Coaching Ireland. Liam has a vast experience in working with coaches from all over Ireland, from the elite to the grassroots, to improve their coaching delivery method. So welcome, Liam Moggan.
Thank you, Nikki. It's taken me a while to get here. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. How are you? I finally made it to the stage of the National Stadium. I'm a product of being sweating down here for the Horselips, Thin Lizzy, Ray Lynham, Philomene Begley, and later stages of my life, Neil Sadak and Janisine, but here I am. I'm delighted to be here. I'm from Tuam in County Galway originally, and I also feel like introducing myself as being from Tuam, the home of the world heavyweight boxing champion, because Tyson Fury is claiming some kind of allegiance to Tuam or whatever else, so it gives me the opportunity to go on about that. Is this my ticker here, lads? It is? Yeah. All right, we're there. Lovely. I am delighted to be here. It's easy to say that, but I love working with these guys. I love the passion. I love the passion that's there. I love the knowledge, the hunger for more knowledge. I'm delighted to see developments. Anytime I leave here, there's come back to something physically different, but I'm meeting new personnel here, and Vincent and Nikki and Mark and Sean I didn't meet. There's things happening all the time, so it is good to be here. You're very silent, so I hope I won't put you to sleep. I too will be hanging around at least until just after lunch, so if there's any way I can help and add on, I'll certainly do that also. I hadn't got the courage to put any other title on my talk other than the wisdom of others, because when I had a good look at it and the lads had given me a brief, I really found I was cogging and taking bits and pieces from so many people. I decided to give them credit, and they say if you copy from one person, it is cogging. But if you copy from loads of people, they call it research. So I'd like to think it's a research-full type of document. The wisdom bit I put a bit of thought into too, and when I looked at the meaning of it in the dictionary, that said wisdom is good sense. It's hard to measure that sometimes. Noel Carroll, an athletics coach, athletics was my main sport, used to say most of coaching is common sense, but it isn't that common. The other thing they said about wisdom, it was accumulated knowledge and learning, accumulated, gathered, and that's what's wonderful about days like today, that what you've been chatting in the ringside already, what you're going to chat over lunch, that accumulation, who you're going to meet, the little contacts that will make an easier phone call, another meaningful, like that, another meaningful chat. These things are really, really important, so it won't be just us talking up here that'll do it. I put a set of outcomes because I think it's important to kind of give a little bit of a steer, and that's really what I'm hoping that I'll get you to do. You'll see there they're all about you. To think, to share, to improve, and on that basis then you'll be able to share, cooperate and take responsibility. Once really we begin to accept and value ourselves, you cease to be afraid of others. Now it's very difficult to generate that momentum of valuing yourselves, seeing yourselves as being really, really good. When you do that, the next stage then is the sharing, taking responsibility to be able to move on that little bit further. So a lot of what I'd like to be able to share with you today is that you'd believe that all of us are just like me. Guy beside me is just like me. Woman beside me, in front of me, behind, just like me. As hungry for information, just like me. Doesn't really need an additional of a lot of different courses in order to progress. And yet, as Pat and Fergal made out, there are pieces, there are parts, and just like me, the others can gain by it. You've copped on that by now, I'm a culchie. I wonder were there many culchies other than Philomene Begley up here, yeah. John MacDonald left Crossmalina many years ago as an athletics interested athlete. He became one of the top coaches in American collegiate life. He's a coach in Arkansas. And he brought out a book last year, and it's a massive book. It's twice the size of a telephone directory. Hey, I didn't read it all. But that's the opening lines in it there. It's one of life's ironies that the greatest of men, now in his context, and women, often originate from the humblest of beginnings. Their later triumphs are rooted in their early struggles, effort, work. Their prodigious success, a product of the environment in which they were born and raised. We all have that as a starting point. Where we are from is important, and we all have that. We don't need a search and a reward, a course, to have that rooted in us. We all have struggles. Where we're from is important, and where we're going to is important. It's all part of this journey. And Liam Griffin, the hurling manager from Wexford, he used to repeat many times that it's very important to put things back. And I'm always conscious when I'm speaking to an audience of coaches, I'm speaking to people who really, really put things back. So influences. We all have parents who started us. My mother, watching me running in Lochray golf course a number of years ago, me in the green shorts there about to be dropped and not win the Galway cross-country title one more time. That little invisible thread is beginning to be stretched. The importance of the backing of the parents is huge. In that photograph, it kind of depicts the role my parents played there and visible and not really influencing or taking too much of an effect. Noel O'Reilly, you can see now I'm beginning to throw out names of great coaches. He worked with Brian Kerr for a long time. And Noel loved the idea of the word, the fundamentals. The fundamentals. I had read a lot about the fundamentals. I think Pat mentioned the principles earlier on. But Noel parsed away the fundamentals, and he said the fundamentals are really important. There's the mental side of it, the approach you have to the challenge, the excelling for excellence, to doing the right things. There's the fun bit, because we must enjoy it. And fun isn't always laughing and joking. There can be great fun in the struggle to succeed. There can be fun in the hard work. And Noel then said, but look at the link, the da, the fundament, the man, the da. The man, the da are so important. So there's all these links that we all have. For me, my second and informal link was particularly my grandfather from Clonaglasha on the left-hand side there. For those other young whippersnappers that are here, the thing in the box was where you went to make a phone call. In my time, you didn't take it out of your pocket, you know. My other grandfather was from Hetford in County Mayo. And I thought about putting those two in. Why? Because a lot of recent research, and I don't read it all, I'd have to say, but a lot of recent research made an impression on me, because I've worked in Coaching Ireland in some way since 1991, since it was set up, and we're really the purveyors of formal coach education. We help train the tutors, we help the governing bodies to be independent of us, ask us for help, and then tell us to back off, leave us alone now. I like that approach. More and more coaches are saying they like the informal approach. This kind of setting doesn't really put you under the cosh, but we can talk, we can share, we can watch. We can watch Zor and the excellent high performance. I think Dima as well is there later on. We have time to chat and talk about it. It's rooted in reality. Between my parents and my grandparents, they gave me that. Before then, I went on to meet a Christian brother in Tuam CBS, Brother Morgan, Brother Willie Morgan. He happened to start in the secondary school as a teacher the day I joined it. I wouldn't be here today without him. He introduced me to the first stages of formal coaching. He got us to win 2 All-Ireland schools basketball titles. That's unusual. It's particularly unusual because before Brother Morgan came to Tuam, I'm 60 now, we never ever saw a basketball game. Ever. Not on the telly, not in Pathé News, and they never saw it. He's quite a special guy. And hence, they really, for me, encapsulate, look, you've got those sources. You've got the parents, you've got the background, you've got the club, you've got other coaches. Hey, it's time to start up on things. I'll mention another great coach now, Jerry Mullins, a show jumping coach. And I've been lucky to travel around a bit around the world with him, where he does the horse stuff, the what, and I do more of the how. So it's a mix of the what and the how. And the how bit is so, so important. And again, I put my hands up as someone from Coaching Ireland on the formal side of things. I believe we don't really value it as much as we should. We kind of say, look, it's important. And now we'll get on to the nitty-gritty stuff. Now we'll get on to what's really, really important. It's the important bit. It's the part we need to really value most. And I'll go on to explain that a little bit more. But rather than dismissing it, we really need to put it out there in lights. It's me that makes the difference. My smile, my eye contact, my presence. And yet, as Pat and Fergal very well set out earlier, I then need to be able to know stuff. The what? A good coach coaches boxing. A great coach coaches people. And that's where the how bit comes into it. A number of years ago, a set of a number of visits to South America with Jerry Mullins. They craved for Jerry. What do we need to do? What exercises? What training poles? What height defences? It was like the white men coming from Europe. And it frustrated Jerry and I a little bit that they didn't see the full picture of the how as well. However, after 24 days, based over about 4 years, we were now ending up with them in Quito in Peru. And we're asking them, look, it's Quito in Peru. It's in Ecuador, I think. Anyway, we'll get away with it. It's far, far away. Look now, what's the next important step? And this is what delighted us. They said that their next greatest step is that their greatest next step is to transform not what they coach, but how they coach. In other words, it took them about 4 years to pick up the little bit of extras of the what before they really, really valued, hey, it's how I do it that matters most. It ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. Bananarama, do you remember them? Do you even admit to remembering them? And the next bit of that line is, it ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. What's the next line? And that's what gets results. Yeah, there's a few Bananarama fans out there. And that's what gets results. This timetable is very well made out as a mix between the what and the how, the informal to stand back, and I'd like to think to really drill it into you. Hey, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it best your way. Fergal mentioned tutor courses. On a tutor course a number of years ago, Smart Ass had a whole lot of definitions, descriptions of coaching, gave it out to the group, let them tease around for a while, and then here Smart Ass was going to show them some definitions. One group blew my mind, and this is what they came up with about what coaching was. One sentence, 3 parts, that says, coaching is about helping people. Good God, never thought of it like that before. That's what I do. I help people. I help people in a fully rounded, holistic, long-term way. How? By developing social skills to be able to talk and to listen. And what? By interacting with others. That it's really about this development of the person. The good coach coaches boxing, the great coach coaches the boxer. To be able to talk, to ask questions, to give out, to push the limit, to be a little bit agitated, to be alive. And great coaches do that very well. That description really, really changed things for me. And it brought in then something that took me a while, that how we do it is a 3-step approach. We grow relationships. It's about helping people develop social skills. That's how the relationship starts. We can wreck it just like that, all right. We can repair it. We're dealing with people. We grow the relationship, not build it. Special light, special soil, special fertilizer, something special comes out of it, the relationship between the two of you. We create a climate. Pat emphasised the climate of participation, the climate of high performance. Come on, you're welcome, he said. You'll all be made very, very welcome. A climate, we're here to make a difference. Vincent showed the spread of the clubs. There's a climate here, bigger numbers, bigger members, 16,500 members. I was surprised there was that many. A climate that we'll have a very visible high performance, and as the coaches right throughout, we'll value hugely the participation side of it. And that is the only time we can help change behaviour. Only you can change your behaviour. A lot of what I'll have to say is directing towards you in evolving and changing towards that. And I say that because only the boxer can change their behaviour. You cannot do it for them. So how you go about that takes time, immense time. It's best done on a low ratio. I mentioned my parents earlier. I'm the eldest of 6. Was the average family around that time. It isn't a lot. Not of you as coaches will be thinking, well, I'm coaching a lot more than 6. So the development of coaching skills, maybe, or of social, helping people develop social skills, I need to ask for help. I need to pull in some more. Your ability to interact with others and make these connections will help you. And I like the idea also that each of these have their own embodiment. To grow a relationship has a start, middle, and end all of its own. The development of the climate, creation of the climate, a start, middle, and end all of its own. And I've mentioned the concerts earlier on that were here. You'll notice some of the really great performers have a clear start, middle, and end to their songs. Christy Moore, I saw him here the first time. Christy hardly ever rolls from one song into the other. There's the introduction, who wrote it, when he wrote it, introduction to the band member. He plays it. And then there's a conclusion of acknowledging the audience and so forth. There's a start, there's a middle, there's an end. And it's like that for most or all great coaches. The Cork people might be happy to see this guy up. That's Brother Colm O'Connell on the left. On the right is David Rhodesia, once again the world 800-metre champion. Won it 4 years ago, injured, and then decided he'd tour Ireland with Brother Colm. He's the Olympic champion. He broke the world record in London in the Olympic final. Very unusual after going through heats, semi-finals and finals. He's one of 28 medalists that Brother Colm O'Connell from Caherduggan in Mallow in County Cork. Again, simple background. Went to Kenya, never having been to an athletics meet. Dismissed often here because, say, he's in Kenya. There's lots of athletic coaches in Kenya. But I mention him from the point of view that Colm is besieged often by video companies, film companies, reporters who inevitably want to go to E10 in Kenya. What's the secret? How would they do it? Now, the whole thing has got a little bit contaminated recently with drugs, things, and that's the ban. I don't know about that. And Brother Colm's, thankfully, none of them have been involved. But Colm says there's no secret. But as long as they think there is, that's great. There's no secret. Now, this is one of the top guys. There's no secret. And recently, I was at the presentation of awards for ladies Gaelic football. There's a legendary ladies Gaelic footballer, Breed Corkery. Hands up our Cork people here. They're shy Cork people, but anyway, we have a few over here. Breed Corkery is a legend. 10 winning All-Ireland senior football medals. I think it's 6 winning camogie medals. 16 winning All-Ireland medals at senior level. It's phenomenal. And for the 3rd year in a row, she got the Players' Player of the Year in football. And she's been interviewed at the award ceremony by Marty Morrissey, and he's prizing her. Look, 10, there must be a secret. There must be something. The coach is great. What's the secret? And she said, no, there isn't any secret really. She says, but our coach tells us there's no secret. What he says is the way to success is small heads and small arses. Let it sink in. It's a good one. The key to success, he said, is small heads and small arses. So after a little bit of a giggle and a laugh throughout, Marty asked her to elaborate a little bit more on it. And she said, well, small heads, respect, team member, respect for the game, respect for the officials, integrity, honesty, humility. We've got to have all of that in order to keep going and to link in. And of course, she says you can't get anything without working hard, and hence the small arse. And again, great coaches can get a lot of the knowledge which was titled by Pat and Virgo and just assimilate it, join it all up together. There's another great coach, Phil Conway. He was a legendary PE teacher in Belvedere for many years. Competed in the Olympics in '72 in the shot put. Very few Irish throwers have really developed without some influence of Phil Conway. And very early in my teaching career, Phil shared that quotation with me, a Jesuit one. If you want to teach Latin to John or Jane, you got to know Latin, and you got to know Jane. The Latin doesn't change. John and Jane, by God, they change. And when you nail it on one of your club nights, by God, they change. And the relationship has now tweaked. Remember that first thing of grow a relationship? How do you react to that? And coaching as you develop, far from becoming a jack of all trades and a master of none, we need to become a master of everything. As doctors and lots of others become more experienced, they get more specific. I'm a surgeon of the big toe on the right foot. And if there's something wrong with the big toe on your left foot, well, you've got to go to another surgeon for that one. Coaches, we don't have that option. The more experienced you get, the more diverse the whole thing gets. It changes. It evolves. Who would be wanting change when change will come without wanting? John McGarren, a writer I like, says, who would be wanting change? You aim to change behaviour every time you bring your boxers together. You aim to change a little bit when you come to some days like today. You cannot then expect to go on and act in the same way and get that same result. Things have changed. Mourinho last January said this. He was a little bit more cocky January 2014 than he is around now, I think. And again, a kind of a character. But look what he said there when I've turned around to see it. If we see, I like that idea of spotting, I'll talk about that later. The players are not better now than they were 6 months. That is a big problem. You can see that. And he's seen it now, but this is January. There are things we need that are compulsory. Compulsory. We've got to get that. The evolution of the players. Evolution takes time. But he's saying in 6 months we want to see it. The evolution of the team. After that, the results is normally, and look at the honesty in that too as a coach, normally the consequence of it. It isn't right now. And yet I heard him yesterday saying, all I can do is continue to do my best and to get the best. A consequence of the evolution. See, that's what makes coaching really difficult. There's a consequence to every phone call, every text, every session that you do. And there's many, many factors involved. Seb Coe, another man in a little bit of hot water these days, Lord Coe. But when he was an athlete, he said that at one stage, that in sport the athlete is always left with the same options, choices. Great athletes are not simply born great. Nobody is born great anything. Look what he says. They're a complex mix of genetics, environment, an indomitable will to win. When you're in there, seconds out, bingo, a different thing is tested. A sacrificial lifestyle, we need to acknowledge that. An excellent coach. Excellent coach. That's why he plays such a valuable part in all this mix. And if they're to be long-lasting, an obsession. An obsession is something we think about most often. We're obsessed about it. And of course, you as a coach, that balance of the obsession, we need to watch that too, because there's life beyond boxing. And when we take the long-term view, as a major influencer, like I call my parents, my grandfather and Brother Morgan, then that's important. I'm here because of the influences of all. The fact Brother Morgan coached basketball and athletics is of very little significance now. And I'd like to think that the repay is happening now. You as a coach might say, well, I'm the boss. I am the driver of the club. I control the session. I control the start, the middle, and the end, the activities of it, just like the driver would there. But in reality, that's how we are as a coach. We're linking in. Coaching is about helping people develop social skills. It's about helping you develop social skills too. Bring parents in to help. Bring more club officials in to help. Contact the sports development officers. Link in with the governing body. Become integrated, because no man is an island. No woman is an island. Nobody exists alone. It's one of the great, great challenges. And that's, as I was talking about there earlier, how do we value that when we accept and value our own self? We can't send a number up to Vincent and Fergal and Pat about the smile we're putting on people's faces. We might be able to say, well, we have a greater number of boxes, greater numbers of parents involved, and that would be fine. We need to value it. We need to really put a value on it. So what are the parts, really, get into a meaty part of the sandwich now. There's the technical side, very much fitted into your work with demons or later on. There's the physical side, physical fitness. You can't, the small heads and small arses, done. There's the mental, the Sean O'Regan, I think, is doing the psychology, the mental side of things. There's the tactical side, which will very much link in with the technical. And there's two crucial parts in the middle. Cole mentioned an obsession, if it is to be long-lasting, an indomitable will. They don't come from those four capacities. They come from the personal qualities you've developed in the person. Why is Michael Carruth still heavily involved in boxing after getting to the highest and Olympic gold medalist? Because it's in his DNA. It's in the obsession. It's in the love. It's in the passion. The Olympic medal is just part of a journey. There'll be an evolution. And it goes on. So the value is of so much greater than the medal, the Brother Fergal, the input. It's in the DNA. And the other thing that comes out is the lifestyle management. Simply what time you go to bed, what time you get up, how you relate with other people, because if you're abandoning the other people, it'll come up, and on the day of the championships, the week of the championship, something happens. If you're missing out on the exams and not studying and doing extra sessions, now the exams has come, your head has wobbled, your head is affected a bit. So in training, and this is where I'm asking you to put thinking caps on a bit. Well, sorry, everyone, it's different for everybody then. That mix, that's that formal link, that formal capacity. But it's different for everyone. That's what really is a real test for the coaches. And it's different every day for the coaches, because if you're having that impact, that change, it's on a loose base. So everybody is different. And of course, when someone goes in there, we say they're boxed out of their skin. Jenny, they're boxed out of their skin, not out of yours. So that huge challenge for us as coaches is passing that over. And this is how we really develop these capacities in training. Let's say that's the technical, the tactical, the mental, the physical, the lifestyle, and the ones I've been mentioning. And let's say, for the sake of it, that 5, maximum of 60, so let's say the maximum is 10 out of 10 in each of the 6. And let's say they get 5 across. Well, 5, you're getting 30 out of 60. Not bad. So you're 5 out of 10, technically you're 5 out of 10. You're getting there. Now let's say, come on down to the club. Technically we'll do a bit of work. Physically you'll be getting better. So you move up on the technical, you move up on the physical. Now you're 40 out of 60. Hey, we're making progress. Because you become an excellent coach in time, the evolution, the consequence of the work. They become 10 out of 10, 60 out of 60, magic. of course, there is no such thing as magic. And that's training. That's back in your own base, your own familiar, comfortable base, hometown, home ring, home club. You know it. The real essence of coaching is to bring people the character to do it in competition. In competition. So we'll go to the national stadium, we'll go to the county championships. They'll be different. And in competition, everything changes. Competition I describe as the yardstick to measure improvement. So really we have said the measure is achieved. We're 60 out of 60. Now it's, like you say, seconds out. Game on, they say in darts. On your marks, they say in athletics. Everything changes. Look at how it changes in competition. The first thing you'll notice, I'm saying it isn't a plus of these capacities, it's you multiply them. And the 5 plus 5 plus 5 gave us 30 out of 60. Now we multiply. And rather than having an impact of 60 out of 60, which is some punch, some impact, when we multiply 5 by 5, we get 15,625. That's why being able to do it in the ring is so important. And if we get 10 out of 10, now we're making an impact of 1 million. So when we as coaches help them to box well and compete well and live well, the impact, whoa, it's huge. Look at this scenario. Lifestyle, we think, it's not that important, and we could have any one of the 6 capacities just for the sake of it. And they get 10 out of 10 in the rest. Now what's the total of the impact? Do your maths. What's the total now? The big fat zilch. Because anything multiplied by 0 is nothing. Nothing. So there's where that holistic overview, important role that you play is so important, because you are that influencer, that fixer. You're like a detective. You're looking for clues for all 6. And again, Pat and Fergal emphasised those things, and I'm emphasising the how aspect, because that glitch in the chain becomes the one that really you fall on. Haven't it in the slide, but if that changed to a 1, the punch, the impact is all the greater, and all the more reason to develop each of them. I think I have about 15 minutes, am I? About that. Will you keep an eye on me, Nicky? Yeah, because I forgot to actually check. I'm due to be starting, finishing what? About 20 past. Okay. You still with me? Oh my God, is anyone out there? There are? All right, again, I want to focus more on you now. And if that to date was to see the importance of the how, I want to continue that and transfer your mindset to you rather than the way we look upon it as boxers. Mental fitness is that. It's the state of mind that helps you perform to your best. Now, I'm not thinking of it here about the state of mind of the boxer. I'm thinking about the state of mind for you. The state of mind that gets you down to the club ready. Really, really ready to make a change, to work with that change, so that you and the boxer are here, the next day we're here, the next day we're here. Now we don't have the sound, we got to adapt. We got to change to it. We'll be wanting change when change will come without wanting. Brendan Hackett that came up with that theory, description, the state of mind. And if summer before last, Brendan and a friend, we were sitting down thinking, there's more to it. It isn't just the state of mind. And we were talking about the training and competition, like I've mentioned there. And this is what he said, what we said about it, that mental toughness is getting into that state of mind. Coming to days like today is part of it. The real tough side of it is applying one thing you pick up today. One thing, that's enough. That makes your impact all the greater, all the more meaningful. You have got to work And again, in an equestrian context, it was in South America for this time, Pierre Durand fell off his horse in the Olympic final in 1984. It was an awkward horse, very small, Japaloop. When he came out of the stadium, he said, I'm going to come back in 4 years' time with Japaloop, and I'm going to win the gold medal. How often they say it. But Pierre Durand did it. He left Paris about 6 months before the Seoul Olympics, and he went to the arena where it was going to take place. He saw there was a track outside, saw the stands were very far away. The soccer final was going to be the previous day. The markings were going to be on the ground. It was a very vacuum type of stadium. But he went to clarify every detail that was needed. And that was the phrase he used most often in a talk I heard. We've got to work to be strong. You have to work to be strong. I don't think there's any other way out of it. Now, you're going to say, well, I don't have to work physically. No, you don't. Yes, you have to work on the health-related fitness can do it. You have to work on the mindset. And the components of mental fitness, again, Brendan had 4 C's: confidence, control, commitment, concentration. You've got it. I added another one, character. All great anythings have character. Wenger is different than Mourinho. Brian Cody is different than Jim Gavin. Eamon Fitzmaurice is different than Cian O'Neill. All the boxing coaches that you can think of right now, you'll think of the character, the way they say things, the old ad for Sally O'Brien, the way she might look at you. And they've all developed these type of things. Confidence alone is about the way you can see clearly what you want to happen. What do you want to happen? What do you want your boxers to see clearly when they see you? Confidence-wise, commitment-wise, concentration-wise, control-wise, or helping them to be in control. What kind of a character they see? And getting back to my early point, you've got it. Years have gone into putting that DNA through you. We've got to use it. Really, really use it. One of the guys that uses well is a guy called Paddy Butler. He's a hurling, kind of a John the Baptist that goes all over. And I share it because he is different. He has a full-rooted, solid belief in himself. And one of the things he says a lot is to normalize the excellent. There are things that you do excellently. Right now, here today. Normalize it. Make it normal. Be the thing you do all the time. And then push the bar to be that little bit further out. Lar Foley was a guy that had a big impression on me too. Dublin hurling manager back in the 80s. A hard boy, I tell you. He boxed, but never in a ring. He was seen as a violent bucko. And he was. But I wasn't working long with Lar Foley, and I found out he was far, far more complex and deeper than the outward presentation of him. He was as gentle as a lamb when he wanted to be. He was kind, he was generous, he was thoughtful, he was caring. He was the leader when had to be, and the time came, bump. And he was the follower when a time came, well, maybe you're right. Maybe that's a better way, lads. Let's try that. He had one of the greatest ranges that I saw because I got close. But the outward view was of this big brute, a dub who owned a farm, thought like a farmer, hit like a farmer, a big thick. Lar was a genius. And it got me thinking of this nature of in coach education. What should we really develop? Is it only about the techniques, the principles? I thought, no. It's about develop what I call the boyo in you. Gerald, forgive me for a minute. I'll come to you in a minute. There's a little bit of a boyo in every single one of you. And it's not a secret. All of us have secrets. Haven't you? Yeah, I bet you have. But I'm talking about the secret of the way it is in which you work. I was in Istanbul and I met a guy called Dimitri. And you can see the boyo in people's eyes. And it says says to Dimitri, and I'll just pick on you, Dimitri, you're a right boyo. You're a right boyo. But of course, English wasn't his first language. And I was challenged. He says, what is boyo? Now I'm challenged. Jesus, what's a boyo? I can't tell him really. So I said a boyo was someone who stretched the limits. In themselves, they were a crowd. They made a difference. People liked them. They filled a room. They were like a crowd. And he was happy with that. And 2 days later, a lady came out from Ireland, and he went up to her like a shot. What is boyo? And she gave a very disparaging, insulting remark about it. But I'm still friendly with Dimitri. He came to run the Dublin Marathon this year. I'm on the commentary for that. So in front of 15,800, I introduced to the crowd that Dimitri Drakakis, the boyo from Greece, was coming to run. Greece, the home of the marathon spirit in Louis 1896. Let's give him a rousing welcome. And he did. He got a rousing welcome. But to show the boyo in him, Dimitri met 6 other Greeks during the run. 2 of them were called Dimitri. He wasn't even the only Dimitri in the race. So I'm prone to hyperbole a little bit. I thought then, who can I give examples of boyos? They're boyos. The violinist in the middle is Nigel Kennedy. Refuses to wear the black ties and dicky bows and so forth. He's an Aston Villa supporter. God love him. He wears his Ag Bon Lahore jersey. No one gives a damn when he starts playing. Because one of the things that define boyos is that despite distractions of climate, when they really come to have to perform, they can do it. So you might give out about Michael Flatley's tan and the ponce and everything, and he brings the world's greatest dancers on stage with him, and he's going around and giving it socks. And when they stop and he dances, he's better. He's better. When they really come to the moment, they're able to perform. And that's the challenge for you as coaches, as detectives, as fixers. My daughters noticed there was no girls there and began to think, what's the female equivalent? And they came up with the idea of Maria from The Sound of Music, a flibbertigibbet, a will-o'-the-wisp, a clown. And I kind of dismissed it immediately, but I was struck by the first line of the chorus. Look at the first line of the chorus. We see boyos as a problem. How do we solve a problem? How do we knock the character out of them? The character is the thing that will make them excel in there, making decisions, sussing out options, taking the right action. The real dynamic for you as a coach is to get comfortable with the awkwardness of trying to organise that in your club. So we're not really in the club looking something very stable, because that's not what's measured in there. We're looking for something which is on the edge, because that's what's measured in there. So we need to develop the boyo, develop the creativity that everyone is due, and put reins on them, because they're boyos who cross the line. Poor old Tiger. He had all the great capacities of a golfer. He couldn't turn up at a golf course. Nixon, the only president to be impeached. Lance Armstrong is not all bad. He's not all bad. But if he had people around him saying, Lance, for God's sake, will you stop the bloody blue tablets? Cop onto yourself. Different climate, and you can see what that does. But you can see also that because a boyo is loved and liked, you can let them away with things that could actually bring them down. Think of the number of the multiplication in the capacities. They lose their head, they lose the rag, they take shortcuts on sleep, they drink, they don't really get the defences right, but look at, geez, they're great. They're not. They're not. You're the person that caused the limit. You encourage them to stretch and you pull them back. Because it is an old saying, the grandfather from Clonaglasha taught me a lot. It's an old observation that the best sometimes disregard the rules. Michael Flatley did. To hell with his short skirts and hands down by your family. Rip the long skirts off them, get the hands going. But look at the second part of it. But unless you're certain of doing well, you're best to stick to the rules. Just confirm, Nikki. 5 minutes, is it? Or am I up? Am I up? 2 minutes. Okay, well, let me flick through to a lot. Yes, planned a bit more than I... Just wait with me and we can make hay with the conclusion. So, what is it so we should promise? My planning normally is a bit better, but anyway. Okay. That was an ad break. Kind of like the way you do Sky Plus every now and then, isn't it? Okay, so what can we promise so? And really what I was going to do was some of the minutiae of the rules, and we can get over that. But what can we promise? So we're bringing down the boxers. That's the first thing I think we can promise. You're going to become better. So come to the club. You become better. And then I thought of Brother Morgan. And I said, well, what did he help me become better at? And I've listed it here. He helped me play better in a sport I've never seen before. He helped us grow as individuals. He helped us grow as a team. He got us to work harder. He got us to work more often. We got organized. We became friends. We stood up. We stood out. We learned the right way to do things. We learned to figure things out. We became proud of where we were from and what we meant. We became respectful. We became better. There's no mention there of basketball or athletics in that. It is important. It is. But I want to really emphasize how central the how bit is. Come down to the club and you'll become better and a better boxer. Secondly, I'll help you overcome barriers, challenges, difficulties. That'll be a life lesson. We'll improve. I'm a fixer. I'm a detective. I'm an educator. I'm going to help you fix these things. When I say I'm saying it in the context of you. The third thing, you're going to learn. Everyone can learn. Nail that to your head. Everyone can learn. Not in the same way, not in the same day. And you can no more learn for your boxer than you can box for your boxer. You can no more learn from them than you can die for them. Thirdly, the learning. Fourthly, that you'll go somewhere. You'll go somewhere. You're going to improve. Better venues, maybe. Better gyms. Better areas of life. Better control. And finally, and I will leave it finally for now, you'll get that wonderful sense of satisfaction that's long-term. I did it. I did it. I love this. I want to continue to work. And the relationship and the climate that the coach set up and the information that he or she had, they helped me do it. That's more powerful than any medal. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.